Welcome to the Beginner's Guide on Shingo Process Mapping. Shingo Process Mapping is the best process mapping method to use when developing or improving processes. It is easy to understand and conveys the whole process immediately. Shingo Process Map begins with the identification of SIPOC, the top level of process. In SIPOC, S stands for suppliers, I for inputs, P for process, O for outputs, and C for customers. The first step of creating a Shingo process map is to determine the outputs and the customers. Outputs and customers define what is produced in the process and to whom. The customers can be internal or external. Identifying the customers of the process is key in identifying what truly produces value in the process. The second step is to determine the inputs and the suppliers. Inputs are all the information and items needed for the process to start. The suppliers are the internal or external entities that provide the inputs. With outputs and customers and inputs and suppliers set, the process now has its boundaries. These boundaries define what is included in the current process and what should be excluded. With boundaries established, it is easy to map the process steps between. The third step is then to map the process steps. Process steps tell what happens in the process. In essence, they describe what needs to be done to transform the inputs into outputs. Process steps describe action, so remember to start each step with a verb. Process steps are read from left to right and are denoted with dark green color. The fourth step is to map the operation steps. Operation steps state how the work is done in the process. They tell on a more detailed level how to complete a process step. Process steps can be thought of as the title for a group of operation steps. Like process steps, operation steps describe action, so start them with a verb. Operation steps are read from bottom to top and are denoted with light green color. The fifth step is to add the organizations, also called roles. Organizations describe who is responsible for doing the work for each operation step. There can only be one organization per operation step to ensure that the accountability for each is clear. Organizations are denoted with rounded colored squares. The final step is to add the systems. Systems tell what programs, software, or applications are used in each operation step. There can be multiple systems per operation step, but it is always better to use less to avoid unwanted complexity. Systems are denoted with colored triangles. Now you understand the basics of building a Shingo process map and why a Shingo map is the most effective way to develop processes. You can now try to build your first Shingo process map in Cleverum or continue with the tutorial on how to create a Shingo process map in Cleverum for more practice.